Grand Canyon University's RN to BSN online degree program makes earning your bachelor's in nursing possible. Balance online coursework with local in-person clinicals to position yourself for potential leadership opportunities in the time you have from wherever you are, leaving room for what matters. Achieve your goals with your personalized plan and team behind you. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the After Buzz podcast. My name is Nico Adjimian, your host of the After Buzz, and of course with me is Buzz Adams.
Hello.
And we've got a special guest today, Mr. Iggy Samaniego.
Hello, Iggy.
KLAQ. Stand-up comedian extraordinaire, and if you need your pool cleaned, make sure.
Is that what you're doing these days?
Yeah, during the day. I'm supposed to be doing that right now, shit.
Stand-up comic through and through. Thank you for joining us, Iggy. What have you been up to, buddy?
Not working.
You're right.
Yeah.
You've got something going on when you're acting.
Yeah, I'm having a premiere for this for the show that I was in, my acting debut, called Aim for the Heart. It's on Chicano Hollywood TV app.
Wait, so the Chicano Hollywood TV app?
Yeah, and it's free too, man. So
all right.
No excuses.
And that's where, so what is it, a TV show or movie?
Yeah, it's a TV show about these two daughters, these two little girls who, their dad gets killed in front of them, me.
You're the dad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I get my trigger finger chopped off.
Spoilers.
They shoot me in the head. I bet you my ex-wife is going to watch that shit on YouTube, man. She's going to jack off to it.
Rewinding. Rewind, play.
So you play the dad?
Yeah.
Did you have to do like makeup and everything?
Nah, man, but I did get my ass kicked. And it's funny because on the way there, I still didn't know my lines, what I was going to do, my scene. So that's when they told me, yeah, but you're going to get killed. And I'm like, cool, whatever.
Did you have lines?
Just one. I told the kingpin, you don't want to do this. And then they kill me. They do it anyway.
All right. So, Iggy, when you were pitching to me, like, hey, I want to talk about my acting, and then you said I also got this story about how I blew out my asshole.
Yeah. Because you know what, man? I had one scene, but we had to shoot it 12 times. So I get roughed up. They throw me on my knees.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy when you're on this and you do it so many times?
You know what's crazy, man? The writer dude. Shout out to Joe Regalado. Because I'm facing him, so I'm watching him, and I do the scene the first time. That dude has his face like, "Oh shit, you got it." We still did it 12 times, and afterwards he did say, he goes, "Dude, I think you got it on the first try." Yeah, why the fuck the other 11, man?
So you blew out your
yeah,
rectum.
I think it was a combination of having to fall on my knees, bend over, and I had to yell really loud.
Really loud?
Yeah, man, and I had it, shit, it was like...
Was it like a prolapsed anus situation? Did the inner tube come out at all?
I don't know, I didn't look, but... It was like 10 days, and I don't have medical insurance, man, so I called Nico. I go, "Hey, Nico, come over, man," and I started explaining to him what's wrong with me. And
Nico,
this dick
you've
goes,
had experience pushing assholes.
No, he goes, I finished this whole thing, man, and he's looking at me with a weird face, and he goes, "What the fuck were you and your girlfriend Shama kind of freaky shit were you doing?" And I couldn't laugh, man, so I'm trying to hold in the laugh, and I think you made it blow out longer. It ended up being like 14 days, almost 2 weeks, man, that I had a blown...
Well, all right. So was there like one moment where...
You could just use some Fix-A-Flat, probably.
Like, was there one moment where it pulled, like you like pulled a hamstring or something, you could just tell, like, oh...
Not that I could feel, man, but...
It was just the repetition of things that made you feel it later.
Oh, now you diagnose it.
I wasn't going to diagnose it then. Well, yeah, pull down your pants, Iggy. Let me see. Spread them.
Cough.
All right, well, on today's episode of the After Buzz podcast, I have a bit of news to bring up from the world of archaeology.
Okay.
I guess. The earliest manuscript of the gospel of a gospel about Jesus' childhood has now been identified.
The earliest manuscript?
Yes, the earliest manuscript. So there is a gospel called the Infancy Gospel of Thomas.
Right.
Yeah, and it was originally written in Greek. Now, the earliest version of this story that we have was only traced back to the 1100s. That's like, and in the 1100s there was a manuscript. They were like, oh, here's the story that we heard about Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, from earlier that was written.
Well, it was probably a copy of a copy.
It was a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this new papyrus document that they and it's been sitting forever in Germany somewhere at the Hamburg Karl von Otzke State University Library. It was, quote, it was thought to be part of an everyday document such as a private letter or a shopping list because the handwriting seemed so clumsy. But we noticed the word Jesus in the text, and then by comparing it with numerous other digitized papyri, we deciphered it letter by letter and quickly realized that it could not be just a normal document.
Okay, so what does this one date to? Earlier than 1100?
This dates to about 200 AD to 300 AD.
Okay, so that's still...
I'm sorry, excuse me. 2nd century AD. So that'd be 100 AD to 200 AD.
2nd century, 100 AD. Okay, so even that was written at least 70 years after the death of Christ.
Right,
but that's very early.
It's still early comparatively.
When you're talking about biblical manuscripts, that is a very early manuscript.
Also, by
the way, Thomas, Book of Thomas, not in the Bible. That was part of what's called the Apocrypha. It was left out of the Bible.
It is called apocryphal book of the Bible, or also a Gnostic gospel. But so a bunch of churches were all telling different stories and had different manuscripts of what they were going by, and they eventually all came together in one council of Nicaea, and then they all said, this is what we're going to put into the Bible.
You know, I studied Bible history, right?
Yeah, but didn't you fail?
No, I did all right. I think I got passing. I think I got an A.
Yeah.
In fact.
Would you have gone into the, what's it called, where priests go, the seminary?
Seminary? No, I don't see, after taking a Bible history class and finding out, like, every time they rewrote a manuscript or made a copy of it, somebody probably added their own thoughts and, edited themselves. I don't see how anybody could pursue that and go to seminary after finding out that, I was taught it was just one source. God wrote it down himself. You don't question all this stuff. And when you study it, you find out that it's a little more complex.
That's a hesitation I have, man, because, like, how can you trust it after it's been redacted, remixed? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely. So it's like a giant game of telephone.
Hey, have you heard this, Buzz? This dude, he was a MD in religious studies, whatever. But this dude was saying that the day before Jesus was sacrificed, that it was like 2 a.m. The authorities caught him in a park with a little kid.
No.
Dude, he told the authorities, "I'm not a Laith." And back then, Laith meant a human trafficker. So what he suggested was that they caught him with a kid and killed them, crucified him the next day for that.
I have never heard that. The Bible story, which appears in 3 of the 4 Gospels, says that he was in the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples, including the disciple Peter. But this is, I don't know. I mean...
Yeah,
I've never heard anything remotely like that before.
Your story sounds ratchet.
It's not my story. I'm just regurgitating the ratchetness.
All right, so the infancy gospel of Thomas is actually about Jesus' childhood.
This
famously
is
enough,
the one where he makes birds out of clay and then turns them to life?
Yes. Yeah. So famously enough, there's really no story. We don't know what happens between the birth of Jesus in, what is it called? The Nativity and his... 33 until he reappears 33 years later.
There's an account of him staying at the temple or tabernacle and getting lost, and his parents were worried back about him, and they found out he wasn't in the caravan. They had to go back and find him, and he told Joseph and Mary, "Did you not know that I would be about my Father's business?" Meaning teaching all the learned rabbis, Sadducees, and Pharisees. That is in the Gospels.
Oh, interesting. But
other than that, there's very little about, from the nativity until he started his ministry at the age of 30.
So this is the manuscript that tells the story of, you were right, Buzz, the vivification of the sparrows. It's a story in, and let me see if I can find a longer version.
I think even back then there were some of these Bible stories where the old-timey Christians were like, I'm not sure about that one. This is one he was but
the water into wine, that one was fine.
Water and wine, walking on the water, basically anything to do with water. We just don't believe you could turn clay birds into real birds. So that's the story, is that baby Jesus, who was apparently a terror, was making these clay birds. Then he would turn them to life and they would fly away. I think somebody scolded him for it, and he struck him blind, maybe?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, right.
So this is
Jesus the Menace, right?
This is considered Jesus' second miracle. He's on the bank of a river or a stream, and he finds 12 clay pigeons.
Oh, he didn't make them himself? I think,
or maybe he made
them.
it.
I think he
maybe he made them
yeah.
from the clay in the river. Made 12 clay pigeons, and I think Joseph, his father, comes and says, "We must go." And Jesus claps his hand, and all the sparrows come alive and fly off.
What if he was a magician, bro? Like,
what if he'd spent all that time like learning sleight of hand? Yeah, no, you laugh at that, but there are some people who have put forward, and going back 1,000 years or more, some of the explanation was he was in Egypt and he was learning like magic tricks while he was.
That's
in
what
Egypt.
it was. That's what he was training. That's interesting. Any other stories from the Bible that are apocryphal that you can think of?
That are apocryphal? You mean that got left out? Yeah, I mean, there are just so many,
Any like weird stories?
Make a lot. The ones that made it in are weird stories.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me about how they could be like, well, this one seems real. Book of Mark, yeah, this one's all good.
Healed a blind man.
Healed a blind man. Good. John the Baptist.
And a bunch of clay birds come to life? No, man, that's too corny even for us.
But also that like some of their stories and dates and stuff like that are from other religions, man, or pagan religions, way older than that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you.
Yeah. That's always super interesting, is to compare like the flood myth, the Noah's flood. It's identical.
It exists in a lot of different cultures.
Almost identical. Not just that.
Babylonians.
The story of a ship containing these things that gets stuck on top of a mountain. That is directly from the Babylonian
I believe
myth.
It's probably based on an actual event, and there was a story passed down, probably orally, for a long time, that there was a big flood, and back in those days, if you looked out and everything was like a major flood,
right,
and everything was covered, you would say the land or the world. Mm-hmm. And there is a little translation trick in that as well, but you would say the entire world's been flooded. Well, your world has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that probably some event, possibly as long ago as many thousands of years ago, might have caused a major disastrous flood, and a lot of different cultures have stories about that.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
that Younger Dryas theory.
Younger Dryas into the Ice Age. You got those receding glaciers and
Younger Dryas.
No,
Dryas.
They didn't recede, man. These guys talk about there was a mammoth that the legs were stuck in mud and the whole body was cleanly removed, like a flood got it stuck and just ripped its body off, and the four legs are. Google that one, Matt, so you can find the image
of four legs just stuck, like the body was swept away.
Of a mammoth, yeah.
I believe it.
What force could do that?
I mean, if we're talking about mammoths here, we're talking about way before anything in the Old Testament was written down. We would have been talking about
they had some weird
thousands
animals.
of years.
I bet they had some weird animals back then that were probably just hunted to extinction that we don't know about.
Well, how far back?
Around Jesus' time, yeah.
I don't know if that's yeah, sure. The dodo.
Dodo's gone. I mean, yeah,
they were still alive when Jesus was around. They were just on the other side of the world. Yeah, anything that's gone extinct was around. You're right.
All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of the AfterBuzz. Let us know what your thoughts are on the apocryphal Gospels of the Bible. That's going to be the selling point for this podcast, is we're going to talk about all kinds of biblical.
By the way, the manuscript
historic.
that you showed, they had a picture of it in an article that I wrote, and it's like this
tiny fragment.
little fragment, and The fact that they can get so much out of it, and I kind of know how they do it. It's like comparative. They really narrow it down to what decade, or even maybe even more narrow than that, based on the writing style. And
so I was going to bring that up. That how cool is it now that we have the technology to take pictures of each of these manuscripts, and even if us as humans aren't able to find the common things, they just put it through an AI thing, and they're like,
did they do that in this case?
I'm not sure if it was this one, but I've seen other stories where...
I mean, I can imagine a practical application for AI as far as ancient manuscripts would be.
That it would be able to decipher and put it all together much quicker than a human could. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of cool.
Ain't no computer going to tell me how to worship the baby Jesus.
All right. Don't forget to listen to the regular Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Fridays, 6 to 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and the AfterBuzz every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Most Tuesdays and Thursdays when it gets up officially.
Buzz on Demand. That's another podcast recap of the show every day.
That's right. That one too. Iggy, thank you for stopping by. Plug your show one more time.
Yeah, we're going to be performing at. Oh no, I thought you were talking about the comedy show.
The comedy show. I mean, this will be. It won't be relevant then. So, but just like what TV show can people see you on, and where can you download it?
It's on the streaming network Chicano Hollywood TV. You could download it for free, and the show is called Aim for the Heart. I'm on episode 5, and I should be dropping next week.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. Talk to y'all next time.
Yeah, watch you.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.